Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode, I think, 6 now of Powered by 0x. I realized I forgot to do the countdown screen. So anyways, I was like, where's the music today? So this is Powered by 0x, and I am your host. I'm Jessica, the developer advocate for 0x Labs. This episode for this show, Powered by 0x, if this is your first time tuning in, we are a developer-focused live stream where we explore different features of the 0x ecosystem, whether we talk about the 0x protocol or the API or the governance structure. The goal of the show is to introduce you to interesting projects that are building with 0x and talk about the different tooling that they're using in the tech stack. And so for today's episode, super excited to bring you all one of our one of our bigger projects that have been with 0x from kind of pretty early on. So we're really excited to hear what they built, and their tooling is actually quite awesome if you haven't seen it before. So DeFi Saver is, as the name, as kind of the description you might have seen, is they're the one-stop shop for saving you in your DeFi positions. So for those who kind of a little bit more advanced in playing around with with loans and various DeFi strategies, what they provide is this really holistic dashboard that helps you, provides you a sandbox to help with running simulations. We're going to talk a little bit about their strategies tool as well as their recipe creator. So, all these different strategies you might be wanting to try out. There's this toolkit that allows you to do it in a safe space, and then also with just a really easy to use interface. So we'll be bringing on, is it Nenad? I'm gonna have him correct the pronunciation of his name again. The co-founder of one of the co-founders of DeFi Saver, and then Nikola. So I hope I have corrected the spelling in the YouTube and Twitter. So it's Nikola, the lead front end engineer for the project. But right before we dive in, I'm just going to do a quick 2 pieces of announcements for the day and share that with you all right now. So just two quick pieces of announcement. So first one right now is that for those who are, wanting to get into Web3, 0x, we've partnered with Alchemy to create a portion of their Road to Web3 bootcamp. So this is an entirely online bootcamp that has been running for, I guess, 9 weeks now. It's a really great program for those who want to get into the space, learn different aspects of Web3 while building projects. So at the end of each week, you build a really cool project. And week 9 on 0x, we partnered with them to build a really simple token swap Dapp using the 0x API. So for those who want to understand how to integrate token swapping into your application, understand some DeFi concepts such as what is liquidity aggregation, what is market making, all these concepts are covered in this course. And so in tutorial, as well as a video walkthrough of how to build this app. And so if you follow the Road to Web3 hashtag and account, you can see some of the student projects come through, and it's really pretty powerful how this API allows you to just aggregate live liquidity and actually swap it, and you can also do it on testnets as well. And this is actually one of the layers of the 0x API stack that we'll be talking a little bit about, that DeFi Saver is actually using. So that's really cool to see that these big projects are actually using this layer that you could also build applications on. And then the second piece of news is EthCC. So this is an Ethereum community conference that's running in Paris, and this is coming up next week. Sorry, 2 weeks from now, in July. So this is a really big event that's bringing together a lot of developers in the Ethereum space in Paris, and so 0x will be there. I'll be speaking on building with our NFT swap SDK. So this is something that we've talked about in previous Powered by 0x episodes. This is a SDK that's built by the Trader project. So they're a project that's funded by our DAO. So it's a really powerful SDK that enables NFT swapping that you can easily add into your application. And I'm really excited that to this talk that we'll actually have an event actually in partnership with DeFi Saver coming up. But there'll be some news about that that we'll be posting up later. So if you are in town in Paris, please do reach out to us. We'd love to see you both at this talk and just around at the conference and at social events. So hope to see you there. All right, so that's it for announcements today. I'm gonna close this up. Cool. So with that, I'm gonna welcome the two guests on stage. So let me bring them up now. So Nenad and Nikola. Hey y'all. Good morning. Hi, how's it going? Or good evening. Welcome. So we're really happy to have you all on the show today. So maybe we'll start off with a round of introductions and maybe a quick intro of how did you get into this space, into this project specifically as well. Maybe I'll start with Nenad.
Yeah, here. So like you said, Nenad, you got the name right.
Okay.
So I'm the co-founder of DeFi Saver. I started working in like Web3. It wasn't called Web3, it was called crypto back then. But in 2017, I got really into Bitcoin, and then I learned about Ethereum, and that I can actually program like smart contracts. I can actually build something on a blockchain, and that was really fascinating to me. and that's how I kind of never looked back. It was kind of a totally new paradigm I can work on. So it was really exciting. So that's how I kind of got started. Nikola?
Yeah, you got my name right as well. It's Nikola. Front end lead at DeFi Saver, and yeah, I got into crypto about the same time as Nenad. We actually met when we started working together in this sort of crypto R&D hub, and I sort of ended up in there just by accident. I heard about this blockchain thing. I happened to have a chance to work on this like experimental project. It was like super early days of Ethereum. I think it was 2017, and met some wonderful people that were very passionate about it, and the whole sort of crypto community and the values and like the sort of possibilities that are now available just really resonated with me, and yeah, sort of joined that sort of decenter team, and built a bunch of stuff since.
Sounds like we all just caught the DeFi bug and I've been stuck with it since. Nice.
Right.
How about we'll just talk about the origins of DeFi Saver to begin with. What
Yeah.
what prompted this idea?
Yeah, so basically, like Nikola said, we were all started working in this research and development center, the center. We had a bunch of different projects. Obviously, it was really early on, so nobody really kind of knew like what was the best use case for Ethereum, what were like the major use cases. So we experimented a lot, and in I guess that was beginning of 2019, we were all in Thailand on like a vacation, having fun there. At the same time, that was one of the like worst crypto crashes in crypto history. So to kind of finance my trip to Thailand, I was one of the early MakerDAO users. So I had like a CDP opened, which I can stake some Ether and generate DAI. So without selling my Ether, I can kind of grab the value now, cash in some dollars, and then kind of use that money. And later, when the price recovers, I can pay back the debt and so on. So I did that, and I wasn't expecting Ether to fall below $100. In my mind, I had like a mental blockade; it cannot go that low. So while I was like on a bike in Thailand in some forest, like obviously crypto did crash, Ethereum did crash to Ether did crash to below 100, and I almost got liquidated. I didn't actually get liquidated, but it was really close, and obviously I was really stressed out, and I started thinking how I'm a developer in Ethereum, a fairly sophisticated user, and I almost got liquidated. Obviously, the regular users like don't stand a chance, and that's how I kind of started thinking about a dashboard, a tool to kind of more easily manage your positions and have some like automated bots work for you, not just like the liquidation bots that work to liquidate you, but actually have like good bots on your side. So that was kind of the basic premise of DeFi Saver, and from there we kind of DeFi started exploding. Actually, it started like becoming a thing. So we kind of moved from there. The first name wasn't actually DeFi Saver; it was a CDP Saver because we were working just with CDPs. But as the DeFi grew, like Compound, Aave, 0x, and tons of other projects were there, we kind of started working on like a DeFi dashboard. Yeah.
Nice. I like the imagery of you riding your bike and then like having this epiphany
Yeah.
about creating these good bots against these countering these liquidation bots. I guess for those who are not as familiar with 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 loans, collateralized positions and such, can you kind of dive a little bit into what CDP stands for and
Yeah.
talk about the paradigm of what's happening there?
So a CDP or maker now calls them bots. So basically, it's a collateralized debt position. What that means in like simple terms, everybody's used to like having a loan that you can take. Let's say you put your house as collateral, then you take a loan, and then you do something with that loan. Let's say buy a car or something. Uh, it's kind of the same principle in crypto. But instead of having a house, you have, Ether, you have some crypto tokens. You can put those crypto tokens as collateral and generate a stable coin, which is worth $1 as DAI. So basically, you're just using your crypto holdings to generate some debt, to generate like dollars, I guess. And with that, you can kind of not sell your crypto, but still currently, get some value from there, and then later on pay back the debt when you please.
Yeah, that was probably the clearest explanation I've heard in a while. Thanks for doing that. Cool. So then with DeFi Saver, maybe it's easier if we just directly jump into the dashboard, and you can walk us through the different components of it and what makes it, what makes it so useful.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nikola, are you gonna do the
walkthrough?
Yeah, I can try doing that. Let me share my screen real quick.
Awesome.
And okay, I hope you guys can actually see this. So
yes.
So this is DeFi Saver. I loaded like just a random account that I found online. This is their portfolio. They sort of have right now they just have like one CDP open. So like as Nenad said, they have their this is like a single position. So they have their collateral right here. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but like this is their collateral. So they have like
just a little bit, maybe like
right.
two times.
Right. Yeah. So they have like 327 ETH, and they have like 150,000 of debt. So this is like the core idea of sort of Maker. And then we sort of what Nenad how Nenad actually didn't get liquidated. What he did, well, we call it a repay, and some people call it like a partial self-liquidation or like an unwinding. But basically, what Nenad did back then, so he took out like a small part of his collateral, and he took it out. He sold it for DAI, and he actually paid back his debt. So you can see like if you repay like 10 ETH, your collateral will decrease, and then your debt will decrease as well. But by doing that, your collateralization ratio will actually increase. So that way you'll be safer from liquidation. I think Nenad might have sort of skipped over that part. It's crucial that like the CDPs are actually over collateralized. So the collateral is significantly larger than the debt. And like if it falls below in this case 170%, the position gets liquidated. So that's sort of the key part. And yeah, DeFi Saver started off as a sort of like a dashboard, like a management dashboard, just like this one. This now looks a bit cleaner and more advanced. It has more features. It has like all these additional actions. But basically, this was the key idea. You could boost and repay your position. Boost basically does the same thing, but like the opposite. So you can like take out more debt and buy more ETH. So like if you're using your position to leverage ETH, this would sort of increase your leverage factor. But yeah, basically the main thing that Nenad was talking about was automation, and I think that's what we consider our sort of flagship feature. We started off with just liquidation protection. So basically what Nenad did with repay, we actually wanted to automate that because even though the users could save themselves from liquidation manually, what if Nenad got stuck in the rainforest, or what if he didn't realize the price was going down? So yeah, the idea was just to sort of automate boost and repay features. So like when the price went down, if your collateralization ratio fell below a certain threshold, our bots would actually automatically repay it to whatever percentage you set it. So like if it fell below 200%, you could repay it back to 220. And you can also do the opposite. So like if you're using it to leverage, if the ratio goes over, so like if the price of ETH is going up, you can actually automate buying more collateral by issuing more debt. So that's how we started off. And then sort of over time, as we expanded our feature set, because I think over time we sort of got this reputation of being like a advanced toolkit for like advanced users. And all these users just had like all these crazy ideas. They were like obviously great ideas, but like some of them were like very specific to them. Some of them like sort of hard to to do. So we just got a lot of feature requests. So we sort of started rebuilding our system from the ground up. And I'm skipping a lot of time over here just to sort of give some context. But yeah, eventually sort of branched out our automation service into different sort of strategies. And maybe Nenad can like give more context to this, but basically just to show the UI while I'm still sharing my screen. For example, instead of partially repaying, we added like the stop loss, for example, automation. So if the price falls, you can set this automation. So if the price falls like below a certain threshold, you can like close your whole position. And obviously you can do the same thing if the price goes up. You can sort of take profit. So that's like if the price goes over this threshold. And we also have this sort of automation that's live that sort of connects your maker position with our savings dashboard. So savings is basically just a way to have a yield on your stable coins. So for example, on mstable right now you have a stable yield of around 15%. So you can do what you can do is like deposit your ETH in a maker position, borrow some DAI, and like put it here for like a stable yield. And you can sort of implement an automation. So I just got lost a bit. You can sort of automate, like if the price goes down, you can actually repay it from your mstable savings position and put it back into your debt. So that's just like a rough overview, just to give you some context.
So I guess to recap for those watching, so essentially you allow the user to interact with these protocols, but then you provide like UI features as well as that are like tied to actions that are able to protect them. So like I don't know if is like having a stop loss something that would be natively built into if you're like using Maker.
Right. So the way I like to sort of say it. Excuse me, now if I jumped into your.
Go ahead.
The way I like to say it is we sort of try to build upon the base protocol. So we sort of build features over MakerDAO that are like not natively enabled. So we sort of take the basic building blocks and sort of just make certain things easier and make certain things like accessible to like non-technical users. So like you could technically, boost and repay on your own, but that would be like 3 transactions. So you would have to like take out your ETH, you would have to swap it and like pay back your debt. So that would be like actually more dangerous for the user because they would have to take out their collateral and sort of lower their C ratio even further. And this way it's just like safer and like everybody can do it in a single click. And same for automation, I think, sort of building upon the basic building blocks of the base protocols like Maker and Aave. Nena, do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah. Just like one more thing to add, like with the repay, we actually use like flash loans. So
Right.
that's something that users just doing multiple transactions couldn't even do. So there's a lot. I wanted to say like we're kind of a middle layer between like the protocol and the user. So we're a front end, but also we have like a layer of smart contracts that kind of combine all the different protocols and do the advanced actions.
Nice. Yeah, I think if we have some time later, I would love to talk a little bit about the architecture of your smart contracts. I think Nikola had done the write-up of like with was it like with the release of the recipes, you guys had re-architectured your smart contracts to be more modular.
Right.
But yeah, maybe we'll save that for a little bit down the line. But yeah, it'd be interesting to dive kind of behind the scenes what's happening.
Right. I would love to talk about that for sure.
Cool. How about we'll step through like other parts of the dashboard then. I'm sure you have other parts you want to show off now.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I could go all day with that. Basically, so as Nenad said, we started off as CDP saver. So that was like basically we were focused heavily on Maker. And as the whole DeFi movement grew and actually, projects started existing, because when we started, it was just like Maker and Compound was just like releasing their V2, I think. So like eventually Aave came to the scene, and then like a bunch of other different protocols, and we sort of tried to sort of provide the same feature set for the other protocols as well. So we have a full-fledged compound and Aave dashboard as well. I don't have a good example here, but like I can jump into a simulation later on. Actually, this might be a good idea, a good time to sort of jump into the simulation right now.
Yeah.
Right. So there's this thing that we built in collaboration with our friends from Tenderly. They're like a developer toolkit sort of thing, but they provided the infrastructure for this. So the idea is, because this is like such a, at some point, like the feature set and like the technology behind it became like so layered and abstract that like even advanced users, even developers weren't like completely sure what was going to happen, what was going on at any time. Like, so the idea was to sort of let the users actually tinker around and like just play around in like this sandbox and actually figure out how to use all these DeFi products. So you can basically come here and like, you don't need to have a wallet or anything. You could just like toggle the simulation mode, and you can like use your current account if you have it, or you can just like create a brand new account. So like you get started with 100 ETH. You can basically do whatever you would do usually. So like, I'm just going to create a smart wallet real quick. This is like sort of a contract that's needed to sort of make sure like everything is safe and also provide like the execution context for like some of the more advanced features, like the flash loan based actions. Right. So right now I'm in simulation mode. I can basically supply, well, I can do whatever. Like I can, for example, supply, let's go with 20 ETH. As you can see, the transaction gets mined right away because it's like a sort of fork of the mainnet. So I can like, I think I can boost my sort of, so I can like borrow DAI, for example. Let's go with like 30K DAI. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry for the wait. The exchange actions might be a bit slower in the simulation because we're like sort of forking the mainnet, and it's actually this would usually use the 0x API, so this would be very quick. But in the simulation, we sort of need to do some things on chain directly. Right, and so I created my position right now. So I like supply like 20 ETH, and then I boosted. So like I borrowed 30,000 DAI, I sold it for ETH, and I supplied it back. And as you can see, this is like a fully fledged dashboard for Aave, just like we have it for Maker. And yeah, I think that's like the rough overview of like simulations.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because essentially, you know, what developers get to use, you know, without the test nets and like mainnet and getting to play with it, like you're providing that to an end user and giving them that sandbox and letting them simulate around to make sure that the strategy maybe that they have in their head pans out in the way that they expect.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And it's like very important for like complex sort of positions. Like, for example, when people were staking Lido ETH, and like they could actually just like create their position straight away, and like they could actually see their net APY. So they would see like if the APY was like worth actually jumping into the risk. So all the calculations are actually like as they would be on the mainnet, because this is like literally a mainnet fork.
Nice. And then let's see. So maybe so you said, so this kind of covered the simulations portion. And then do you want to talk about the recipes now? Or is there any other part of simulations we haven't covered yet?
Right. I mean, I can. Yeah. I don't know what I would start, honestly, because we don't have really like a rough. We don't really have anything written down. But yeah, I mean, I can show off some other features as well. So like we also have automation for Aave. We're actually supposed to be launching this Aave automation on L2s like next week. So we should have the same sort of automation that we have for Maker. We should have it live for Optimism as well. So we're hoping to see like all these sort of L2 users that were like priced out of mainnet sort of returning to our dashboard. So yeah, right now it's just like the basic mainnet automation. but hoping to see optimism right here next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, just to sort of again give a rough picture. For example, we have this loan shifter. So right now I have a ETH DAI position. And what I can do is I can change my collateral type, so it's like staked ETH instead of ETH. So what this would do is actually it would just swap my ETH in the background and sort of it will obviously use flash loans, but it would like just swap my collateral type into something else. And like if I wanna like jump out of ETH completely, I can like switch it to like a stable coin. I can also like shift my sort of position to like Maker CDP, for example, or I can like completely obviously I can close it, but like yeah,
I see. So essentially, like in one click, the user can switch from one collateral to another, and then
right.
do you handle? I guess how is gas handled? Is it more efficient than using the tool, or is it mostly that you're providing kind of these guardrails that make it really simple that the user won't mess up if they?
Yeah, I think the key thing is like this sort of enables the user to like do it as just like from like a UI. And so as Nenad mentioned earlier, this uses sort of flash loans in the background. So like you don't have to pay back your debt. It's just it enables something that would otherwise not be just available to like a common like non-Solidity developer user. Just makes it possible like in a easy to use interface. So I think that's like the sort of key advantage here.
Yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll take a pause now and also let the audience know that if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, please feel free to drop your questions into the chat. We're here live, so definitely would be curious to hear who's used DeFi Saver out in the audience. Also, if you have questions, like maybe you're thinking about implementing some strategy and this tool has inspired you, maybe drop that down the link, or just like what brought you out to this chat today. Drop your questions in. We're definitely here to answer those questions. Cool. With that, let's take it back to the dashboard. So you showed us the loan shifter simulation mode. Let's see, what other parts of the dashboard do we want to go over?
I mean, I can show off the features for 20 minutes, but I kind of want to talk about the sort of recipe system and like the sort of background behind it, because I think it's sort of interesting. So as I mentioned already, I think sort of over time we garnered this sort of reputation for like being this advanced toolkit for like advanced users, and all these advanced users wanted to execute all these sort of complex transactions. They wanted to obviously, as I mentioned with the loan shifter, they wanted to like sort of connect their positions on different protocols. So they wanted to merge them, split them, shift them, change collateral types, change debts. They wanted to automate a whole bunch of things. And we sort of tried to keep up. So we made the loan shifter, for example, we made it like very, very full of features sort of. We added a compound automation, we added the Aave automation, but this was like sort of just trying to keep up with like so many sort of feature requests and all these like crazy things that like made sense for like a small subset of users. So it was very hard to sort of do this at scale. And at some point, this is especially I think related to automation, we sort of realized this wasn't really going to scale, and we needed like a way, because we had this system that was like now robust and it was trustless from the start, but it was like, as I said, hard to scale. But so what we tried to do is build from the ground up by sort of, well, we started off with our sort of smart contract system. We made this sort of recipe-based system. The idea was that we'd like sort of implement like the basic building blocks as like the smallest actions available in each protocol. So for example, add collateral to Maker, create debt on Aave, swap using 0x, flash loan from DYDX, for example, at the time. So all these like small building blocks, and like we'd allow the user to actually like connect these building blocks into a single transaction. So that way they could like build their specific loan shift by hand. And we sort of, when we created this generalized smart contract system, we created this recipe creator just to try this concept out, just to prove that it works. And we ended up with this like super advanced and super easy to use tool. Again, I think UX was always a big deal for us. But yeah, so what the user can actually do is they can like drag and drop all these sort of building blocks. So for example, they can flash loan. So let's, I don't know, flash loan. Actually, let's flash loan some ETH, for example. And then, for example, I'll open a new CDP. I can supply some collateral to my CDP. Let's just wrap some ETH from my wallet as well. So right now I have 40 ETH, 20 borrowed via flash loan and 20 from my wallet. So I'll just supply that. I'll generate some depth here. Let's go with 25. So I can swap it for, I'll sort of use this whole, so this thing that I just, this DAI that I just borrowed from my sort of new maker CDP, I'll sell it for ETH. And then I'll sort of, and I'll sort of pay back the, so I sort of drag and drop this. The UI sort of helped me sort of finish it up. But yeah, so I flash loan 20 ETH from Balancer. I supply 20 ETH from my wallet, and I supply all that into like a new wallet, new CDP on Maker. I generate 25,000 DAI. I sell it all for ETH. I pay back the flash loan 20 ETH, and I sort of unwrap the remaining ETH back to my wallet. So I'm sort of, I end up with a brand new sort of leveraged ETH position, which has 40 ETH and 25,000 DAI. And this is like the simplest example. This can also be done using our UI, but the idea is that the user can actually now drag and drop, create these super complex and super custom transactions and actions, or we call them recipes, and he can do whatever he wants in like a super easy, intuitive way, but like with having all this sort of powerful tools like the flash loans and like the 0x API.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe to tie it back to what you were saying earlier with, excuse me, you had all these users coming in with like all these kind of potentially niche requests, and
Right.
you kind of saw the underlying situation, what was happening there was like, well, rather than building out each of these individual requests, like essentially building out the blocks that people can piece together their own process.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so
exactly what I say. Yeah.
And then I also saw that the UI is super smart to, provide fixes, like call outs of like, oh, you didn't.
Right.
I was like, you didn't. Was it payback here? Or like
Right.
that here.
Exactly.
And like having a prompt to suggest that the user fix it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you didn't pay back your flash loan, so like this isn't gonna execute correctly. So like you can actually see after each step, so you have a negative balance on your like Balancer flash loan. So you can just tap a click, and then you like you have some remaining ETH that's like still wrapped on your like temporary balance. So you can like fix it to unwrap it back to your wallet. So yeah, we sort of tried to make this tool as easy and as intuitive to use, like just to add like more, because it's like a very complex, very powerful tool. We try to make it as intuitive and as safe to use, and that's like we launched simulations sort of together with the loan shifter. So the user could actually like start a simulation and then like execute their recipe first and see if it actually does what they expect it to do, and then like they can execute it for real.
Well, since we are talking about the recipes here, I wanted to ask about well, I saw that you guys have an SDK. Is that still, is SDK allowing other people to leverage these recipe smart contracts, or are those connected?
Right. I mean, Nenad, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the SDK is like an open packet anybody can use. We in the past 6 months we maybe didn't push it that much. It's currently mainly just used internally, like to easily integrate in the front end. But anybody who basically knows JavaScript can everything that Nikola just did in the interface, somebody can do it with the SDK, and even with like more precision and like more kind of, it's a bit more powerful than the UI. As Nikola is showing, it's kind of we have like tutorials and docs about it, so any developer can kind of easily dive into it.
Yeah, I'm just looking for like a good example for like a recipe. So you can like basically just instantiate the recipe, the SDK, and then you like sort of create a recipe. So it's like, new recipe which contains actions of like maker open, maker supply, and maker generate, and like you can sort of do all these features that you can like do here, obviously without the support from the UI. But like if you want to integrate this in your sort of app in any way, we haven't promoted this really, but it's entirely possible, and we sort of encourage it. We're like very open to sort of those integrations.
Cool that you open source that that what am I saying? That logic. Yeah, that's cool. Let's see. And then, do you want to talk a little bit about the architecture of the smart contracts from here? Does it sit in that repo or different?
It's a different repo.
Yeah. Do you want me to
open up the repo?
Yeah. I mean, feel free to take this one. I'll try to follow along with the
So co-founder, but also lead Solidity developer at DeFi Saver. Like Nikola said, we had an issue with like scaling actually the previous architecture, because every new advanced feature was basically a new contract. And even though the contracts weren't really that different, obviously smart contract development is something that you need to do really carefully so you don't introduce any bugs or hacks. So it wasn't really scaling so well to build every contract for every feature, and then we have thousands of features and thousands of contracts. It kind of scales linearly, and that isn't good. So the idea here with the smart contract is to kind of build a modular architecture. We have one contract called a recipe executor. So from the actual front end, from the SDK, you can basically just combine separate individual modular actions into an advanced action. And you don't have to build like a separate smart contract for each recipe. You just have small contracts that do one thing, that are easily integration tested, that are kind of really straightforward. And from there, anybody with an SDK or a good UI can kind of create the advanced action. So like with that, we kind of improved the scalability of how many complex actions we can actually build, but also the security, because then we can support just a handful of contracts and audit them and be really sure that things are going correctly, and we can build the complex actions as we go in the recipes. Hopefully that answers some of the questions.
Yeah, I think so. Essentially, going back to the modularity. So like like each smart contract is focused on an action, and then you can get that smart contract audited, and you kind of like that contract secure, and you kind of continuously building out pieces that are linked, or essentially you're building out contracts that are what's the word I'm trying to say? Essentially, they're modularized and like self-contained and secure on their own.
Yeah.
So you don't need to like worry about, oh, like I need to go back and like mess with this one again. Once it's done.
Yeah. So like in Solidity development, like complexity is kind of the worst enemy.
Mhm.
So to keep a contract like single purpose, like really simple, like this contract supplies a token to Aave, and then you can easily test on an array of tokens and so on. Then like, okay, the supply action has like this set of like rule sets and features, and then from there we kind of more easily like combine it with other pieces. Instead, what we did before was to create a whole like separate smart contract that does the supply, but we kind of reuse the code again, and obviously like it's easier to introduce bugs and just to maintain a bigger code base is always tougher.
Well, I guess just to recap for those who are just joining in, so we're talking with Nenad and Nikola from DeFi Saver, and so we're talking right now about their smart contract architecture. So essentially, what DeFi Saver provides is really toolkit that allows the users to put their own algorithms and simulate procedures. And so, in order to handle this, they've and how they've done that on the live side. If you're watching, I saw that Nikola was talking about. Sorry, any questions? Please. I see. Nikola asked, how many Nikolas are there on the team?
Way too much.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's been a legitimate issue. Like, it's a very common name in Serbia. So, like, out of the around 20 people, I think it's like 18 or 19 people right now. We have like 6 Nikolas, I think. And I'm sorry if I forgot someone. So it might be even 7 at this point. But I think it's like 6 people, and like a lot of them are like but we have like 3 seniors that are like Nikolas from like different teams. So like whenever we have like a group chat, for example, with like different protocols, they always tag like the wrong one. So like they always start typing like at Nikola and like a different up. So like it's always like like they tag one and I'm like, okay, this one is for you actually.
Yeah. It's like I don't know what this question is about.
Right.
That's pretty fun. Cool. So we talked about the front end part of it, the back end, and some of the developer and like a developer tool that's available with the SDK. Is there anything that we haven't talked about yet?
There's also like pre-made recipes. If for some users it may be scary to like build their own like recipe from the beginning. There are a lot of examples of how like pre-made already useful recipes you can check out there.
Right. Yeah, I'm showing off the pre-library right now, so I'm not sure if you can still show my screen. Share my if you see my screen.
Yeah, it's still showing.
Right. But yeah, basically so we like show this is like a showcase, so like just to give you a rough idea what you can do. So right now we list all the actions. You can like edit these actions in like the creator sort of manually. But yeah, you can actually sort of just a lot of these have like a quick access enabled, so that just like gives you a rough just like an easy way to access the recipe. So let me just find something that I can actually use here, because yeah, for example, just opening like a leverage staked ETH position. So this is like very popular obviously recently. You can just type in like okay, I have 10 ETH in my wallet, and it will automatically like flash loan the rest and create this sort of safe position for you. So we'll like flash loan some ETH, sell it for staked ETH, supply it to Aave, and like create the whole position. And we can do like some complex stuff in the background as well. So like we can actually check if it's like more if it's more economically well, if you would actually get more ETH for like by just staking your ETH, or like actually selling it for staked ETH. And this is like something I heard 0x started doing as well recently. But yeah, we had it like in the recipe like maybe a month ago.
Yeah, that kind of prompts a question in my head of, do you see certain types of strategies I'm sure you see certain types of strategies come up, say more during a bull market than a bear market. So like what sorts, like there's probably certain strategies that are coming up or being used more now.
Right. Yeah, it's very. You have all these trends. So the stake ETH positions were very popular, obviously, like a month or two ago, and like before that was like what was popular? I don't know, like farming Aave or comp tokens, or like shifting your like ETH position to like a wrapped staked ETH position on Maker. It's just like all these sort of when Reflexer came out, like a lot of people were trying to shift from Maker to Reflexer. It's all when MStable had like a super high APY, people were like supplying from creating a Maker position and supplying to MStable. So it's very like whatever is like popular on Twitter, we sort of try to add it here and like let the users do it sort of easily and safely.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, did you have another comment?
Yeah, I was maybe gonna suggest. Actually, this might be a suggestion for Nenad if he wants to like maybe discuss the security of like the smart contracts and like the automation in general, because I think we sort of did a good job keeping it trustless, and it's not really something that pops up very often.
Like one of the most often asked questions when we talked about strategies and automating stuff is like, do we need to give you our private keys for it to work? And that's kind of one of the you don't and that's one of the ways you can kind of easily show like the power of like smart contracts in Ethereum, because each user has the smart wallet. It's like a standard Maker DS proxy, a real simple contract. So each user has one of those, and with that the user can give like authority to our smart contract, and our smart contract has like a really like small set of rules it can execute. So if the user subscribes to like a repay strategy, we can only trigger that repay strategy, and we can only trigger it when the conditions are met and the user actually like puts in those conditions on chain. So like that way we leverage the kind of the trustlessness of Ethereum kind of, and so we don't need to store your crypto. We don't need to keep it off chain or anything like that. It's all kind of transparent, and it's all like still in the custody of the user. So that's something that during like this fiasco in the last few months, I think it's really important to point out, like the real DeFi stuff is actually like transparent and in the power of the user, and it isn't anything like shady going on in the background.
Yeah, the funds are yours.
Funds are soft.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for calling that out. Yeah, essentially like definitely driving home the custodial aspect of things. Like
Yeah,
you're like the true DeFi is like when you own, like you have control of your funds. Yeah, good reminder. And oh, good. Oh, I was just gonna say, for those who are watching on YouTube, we have some of the links. I think that touch a bit about the topics that they've just talked about, linked down below. So make sure to read, check out those links on YouTube. I guess we are coming a little bit up towards time, so maybe the last two topics I want to talk about were, when your team first decided to integrate with 0x. I remember during our prep call talk, you were talking about how you started, and then what made you decide to go with 0x, and then also a little bit about the grant and how you started in the bear market. I feel like that's a cool story. So yeah, maybe talk a bit about how you started off, and then what made you choose.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said in the prep call, we were in our bootstrap still. So back then it was bear market. Obviously DeFi was just getting started, so attracting funds and actually kind of being able to pay paychecks to people was hard. So one of the projects that was really interesting for us was 0x, because at the start there weren't many really good aggregators and exchanges. so and the other stuff we talked about was the grant aspect. So obviously 0x being like one of the OG projects kind of gave grants to up and coming projects like ourselves, and that's something that at that time really helped us because uh, bear market struggling with money, having even that a little bit push from the grant helped us. And at the beginning, like 0x didn't really cover all our use cases, but together we kind of worked it out, and now we're using it for like automation and kind of all through the app. So yeah, it was a really good like relationship there to kind of build together, like as DeFi was growing up, kind of see like what do we need and what you guys can provide us and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I always like hearing these stories. This is definitely before I joined, but it's cool to see. I kind of look back and see the evolution of, these big players in the space, and how they helped each other from the start to get to where they are now. Yeah, so I guess this is also a plug for if you're watching and you're interested in building. Our DAO is also offering grants, so make sure to check out 0x DAO. There's a Git book with some information about the grants program. So yeah, hopefully watching this is aspirational.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're cutting out for me just for the past 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just give it a minute. I think, yeah. Right. So, Nenad, anything you wanna talk about that we still didn't cover?
Yeah, we're all going to Paris.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if we are actually like live on the stream right now.
I think we are. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm back.
Do you hear us? Yeah,
Right.
right.
We can hear you. Oof.
Yeah, so like I started chilling. We were going to Paris to ETH CC, I guess it's called. So you can meet us all there. We have a booth, probably some good merch. Obviously, visit DeFi server. We also have like a blog. We cover technical and non-technical stuff there. So yeah, Nikola, anything to add?
Yeah, we also have like a super active Discord. If you want to like discuss DeFi in general, or like just get help with sort of using DeFi server and its features, or like if you want like to create a recipe and you're not like sure how to get started, our Discord is like super active and we have some pretty cool technical people like just hanging out there. So definitely a big plug for this Discord. I'll try to like tweet about it, or well, I'm sure you can find it on like our website. And yeah, I'm sure. It's too bad the network was like working perfectly up until now, so it's too bad we sort of. Yeah.
But it was good.
Right. Cool. Looking forward to Paris and like hopefully meeting somebody there.
Yeah, yeah. Should we just like now leave or wait?
Yeah, I guess let's just give it a minute.
Yeah.
So what do you maybe you can tell us if anybody is still online with us. What have you used like the recipe creator for? Like I know I used it like once or twice for like a super custom thing, but like I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I use it every month to like send like 15 bulk transactions I need to send to like 10 different people.
Right.
It's just like, and I save one thing we didn't mention, you can actually like save and share recipes. So I basically just like save the recipe with the addresses and just kind of change the amounts. So that's something
Right.
I do like every month. But I actually like use it to withdraw money from mstable. Like during the last crash, I withdraw some money from mstable and use like the 0x sell action to actually buy some ether while it's cheap. So stuff like that.
Right, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I did, but like I really love your like use case with like sending like the same sort of payments to like the same people, like in bookmarking that recipe. It's not like it's something that we didn't like think of like when we were building it, but like it's there. I can totally see how that's like a time saver. I think I like used it to like close my like maybe Aave position and then like exit into like stable coin or something like that. It was like something super good, which I could obviously do like in like 3 transactions with like a repay and withdraw and like a sell. But it was like super fun, doing it like completely custom like this, like selling the whole collateral, and like it was very efficient like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Seems like Jessica is back online.
Okay, sorry about that. The internet connection at my house is very bad, and then I was trying to go to the office today, but I was locked out of the office. So
Right.
I'm so sorry. It sounds like you guys were handling it well though.
Yeah, we were just talking about like the features and like what we use the recipe creator for, like over time, like all these sort of unexpected use cases that we came across. So yeah.
Use cases. Cool. Well, I guess I will listen to that after the show.
Right.
Cool. Thanks again for coming on, and sorry about the technical glitches. Y'all handle it like pros. So yeah. Well, cool. Thanks again. I guess we'll wrap up then for today, and hopefully see you all. Yeah, see you all in Paris.
Paris, yeah.
Cool. Thanks all.
Nice
Thanks for having me.